Good morning, viewers. My name is Kwek Chasing, and I'm executive counselor in the capitalist office. And today I'll just be making sure that this session runs smoothly. Welcome today to PWC's forum session on what it means to be part of the new equation. PWC's refresh global strategy that aims to respond to shifts in our dynamic world and to earn trust in a very fragile society. But less about it from me, because today with us, I am very delighted to have our guest speaker, Steve Chia, PWC Malaysia's people leader, and Ms. Nushka Kurineru, PWC's campus recruiter. With that, please welcome our speakers, and I'll hand it over to you, Steve.
Okay, thank you, Chasing, for that quick introduction. Depending on where you are, good afternoon and good evening, everyone. And firstly, I wish to thank all of you for taking the time off your Saturday to join us in this forum. So perhaps maybe let me start off with a quick introduction about myself. As what Chasing mentioned, I'm currently the PWC Malaysia people leader, as well as I'm a full-time client service partner in the Malaysian tax practice. As the people leader of the firm, I drive, of course, the people agenda and oversees the firm's people-related initiatives, which I'm going to talk a bit more later. But maybe I'll also share in terms of my role as a tax partner. Generally, I assist clients with various work when it comes to restructuring, review of corporate structures to improve tax efficiencies, tax due diligence, tax incentive applications, as well as representing clients to handle their disputes with the tax authorities. As a profession, I'm an approved tax agent with the Ministry of Finance and sits in the council member of the Chartered Taxation Institute of Malaysia, CITIM. Education is something that is very close to my heart, very passionate about it. And as a way for me to contribute back to the profession, I'm actually one of the tax examiner for the ACCA taxation papers. So for you out there who are taking the exams, so you know who wrote some of the questions. I was one like yourselves out there about to complete my studies and decide on my career options. After completing my ACCA qualification at the age of 20, my goal was to join one of the big four then, and hence I started my career with PWC Malaysia. Yes, so this is my first and the only job so far. I was initially influenced by my eldest brother, who was a PWC alumni, and he has encouraged me to join the firm, even though I've also gotten offers from the other big four as well. Never regretted that decision, as I've been able to grow with the firm, being given various opportunities as well as challenges that helped me to really develop and shape me, not only as a professional, but also my personal growth as an individual. I've been with the firm for the last 25 years, so I think by now you'll be able to gauge my age, with the first 12 years working my way up to become a partner. I think the wonderful thing about this profession is that we are continuously being exposed with new things and challenges, allowing me to always learn and reinvent myself. Even though I reached my goal as a partner 13 years ago, I see myself continuously pushing myself to really learn, unlearn, relearn what's in front of me. A recent example would be when I took on this new role as a people leader 10 months ago, when I had to start to learn about the intricacies of human capital and dealing with the delicate people issues, which is never an easy one. When it comes to people, we have to deal with many shades of gray. Unlike in my day job tax, it's rather straightforward, I must say, where there is only black or white with very little for any gray shades. So in the next hour or so, I will share with you more about how you, like me, 25 years ago, call PWC the home or base where you can grow, develop, and sharpen yourself as a professional. I'll try to keep the presentation around 40-odd minutes or so that we'll leave some time for Q&A to address some of your specific questions that you may have. As you travel around in the UK, I believe you have spotted advertisements on this new equation, thinking by PWC, right? And you may wonder, what is it all about and how can you be part of this exciting journey? Let me start by asking this question. Is simple problems equal to simple solution? It all starts with an equation, right? Or 1 + 1, does it always equal to 2? At school, we were taught 1 + 1 must equal to 2. If you put any other number, the teacher will mark you wrong. And we don't challenge that. But when it comes to business problems, this linear equation may not necessarily hold true. We have to look things from different angles. We need new ways to put it together, going beyond just finding a simple answer. Therefore, a simple problem may not end up with a simple solution, but could be a complex one to manage that particular situation. And vice versa, a complex problem, if it can be broken up in the structured manner, it may perhaps be only require a simple solution. The world as we know now is changing at the blink of an eye. It's becoming more and more complex and nuanced. The rules are no longer obvious, and it's all about looking beyond to create that value. So, as you're aware, the world today is evolving and the status quo are continuously being disrupted, right? I think one example that you, the Gen Z or the millennials will be very familiar with is actually digitalisation. The use of blockchain technology has really transformed the world, right? Digital currencies, cryptocurrencies, non-fungible tokens, NFTs, and metaverse, all these are new terminologies to me, right? But it will soon become a common vocab in no time. Businesses will then need to deal with all these developments and how they can position themselves to tap into these digital opportunities in front of them. Corporates may no longer be investing in hard assets like properties, land and buildings, and the investments may involve NFTs and even virtual real estates. Hear me, virtual real estates. So to accountants, we need to be comfortable to deal with these intangibles and ensure that we need to reflect that appropriately in the balance sheet, right? But it really gives us a new challenge because how do you audit virtual real estates or virtual assets? The approach to tangible assets that we have learned can no longer be applicable now. How do you verify ownership, ensure its existence, and even put a value to it? In the digital world, something could be very valuable today, but the next day, it may have zero value at all, right? So that's the challenges that is posed by the technology on us. In addition to technology disruption, the world are also going through multiple challenges, and some saying that we are going through what we call the perfect storm, with the 3 Cs hitting us. For the ladies, this 3 Cs is not the Singapore version where we talk about cash, condo, and career for you to choose the Mr. Right, but this is what we refer to as conflicts, COVID, and climate change. As we are grappling with the pandemic and potentially seeing some light at the end of the tunnel, new conflict has arose, right, in Europe, and we are still facing it. All prices are expected to soar to all-time high, and with Ukraine being a major food producer, this would put significant pressure on the food prices. High inflation is expected to hit many economies in the coming months, and businesses must be able to react to this. The last C, when we talk about climate change, is now becoming a key business consideration. When I was participating in the fair yesterday, I think ESG has been the buzzword has been tossed around as well, right? Environment, social, governance, and that also dominates the board discussions in our corporate Malaysia. So adopting ESG strategy for businesses is no longer an option, but an important strategy as the new generation, like all of you millennials, is looking forward for corporates that are environmental and socially responsible. So what does that mean then to PwC? The complex world has brought unprecedented changes. Our business, therefore, are definitely being disrupted with the recent pandemic and lockdowns. Our assurance colleagues have to explore new audit techniques such as virtual head stock counts, leveraging on drone technology as we cannot be physically present on site anymore due to the lockdown. Client expect we adopt data analytics as we carry out our audit to achieve cost efficiency. Gone were the days where new graduates that join us are expected to do substantive vouching of documents when this can be done through automation. In tax practice, where I come from, we have started to adopt data visualization tools to present the tax information in a useful manner for companies to be able to appreciate the tax attributes, performing sensitivity analysis so that they can devise ways how the tax costs can be managed effectively. Taking it to the extreme, imagine how technology would disrupt the tax business is that with the advancements of technology, it is very, very possible that one day there is no need for even taxpayers to submit tax returns. Imagine that that's our core business. But one day, we may not even need to submit tax return because tax authorities could even be able to access the accounting system of an organization directly and compute the tax that needs to be paid. On the global tax front, you may have heard this concept or called BEPS, the base erosion profit shifting, where tax authorities around the world are coming together to ensure that companies do not take advantage and exploit gaps and mismatches between different countries' tax systems. As you may be aware, this all started about a decade ago, where big names like Starbucks, Google, Amazon were singled out to be enjoying an extremely low effective tax rates, despite the profits they have made by them. So with all this development, last year, 130 countries have signed up to the OECD Inclusive Framework, which agreed on two-pillar solution, and one of them is the proposed global minimum tax of 15%. What this means for companies like MNCs is that if the MNCs operates in a country with an effective tax rate below 15% due to either its inherently low tax rate or because of the tax incentives, in principle, the MNC will need to do a top-up tax such that the effective tax rate in the relevant country remains at 15%. This would mean that the ability of business to tax plan to bring down their tax costs below 15% is very, very limited. And at the same time, from a country standpoint, if you are developing countries that wants to attract investments into the country, there's also very little room that you can use incentives or tax rate to actually attract them. Because if you actually give them a zero tax rate, then the corporates will then have to do a top-up tax in their home country up to 15%. Another example, we talk about ESG just now, right? You would wonder, how would accountants be impacted by this? And even more so when it comes to the area of taxation. Actually, from a tax angle, well, in the past, corporates are looking at paying the minimum possible tax in every location they operate in, right? Try to actually minimize the overall tax cost. They will now need to rethink this again in light of the ESG agenda to be socially responsible to the local community where the corporate operates in. There is an expectation that corporate should contribute a fair share of tax in those localities to support the sustainable development, such as healthcare, education, infrastructure, which ultimately benefits everyone and not just the shareholders. From the environmental perspective, countries are now looking at imposing carbon tax, and this would definitely influence the way businesses decide on the actions to achieve a net zero position to minimize such costs. With all this, stakeholders, be it investors, regulators, employees, or customers, are demanding greater transparency and assurance. And for business to remain relevant, they will need to continue to evolve. So as you can see, the profound changes in the world that corporates can only succeed by really creating a virtuous circle between earning trust and delivering sustained outcomes. And this forms the backbone in which the new equation strategy, our PWC refresh strategy, are being developed. The new equation focuses on two interconnected needs the corporates facing in the coming years. The first is to build trust, which has never been more important nor more difficult. Organizations increasingly need to earn trust across a wide range of topics that are important to the stakeholders, and that's where PwC can play a role. When we talk about trust, a lot of people will just equate that to audit work, tax compliance work, right? Yes, audit work, tax compliance work will remain to be a key component, but there are also other assurances that are now required in this new complex environment. Organizations are looking for risk assurance, sustainability assurance, cybersecurity to help them to verify that they are living up to the modern societal expectations and standards as expected from their stakeholders. Second is to work together with organizations to deliver a sustained outcome in an environment where competition and the risk of disruption are more intense than ever. Businesses need to change faster and more thoroughly to attract capital, talent, and customers, and that's where PwC will then help the client to achieve this. So to allow us to service our clients well, driving on these two key pillars of building trust and sustained outcomes, we need the combination of both human ingenuity and the power of technology. While technology is disrupting, we need to see how we can embrace them to reinvent ourselves. For you, as the pool of potential talents for PwC, we want you to bring your human ingenuity and skills to be part of a diverse community of solvers coming together to solve important business issues for our clients. So now you've heard a bit more about the new equation. I'm sure you would like to know what is in for you and when you join us, right? And what you expect as a new joiner of PWC. So let's look at some of these things that you can expect when you actually walk into the door of PWC as a new joiner. At PWC, our purpose is to build trust in society and solve important problems, which is very aligned with our refresh strategy, right? In terms of building trust and have sustained outcomes for our clients. So how we achieve this is actually through the various line of service that we have in PWC Malaysia, and that's pretty aligned with how we are structured globally as well. So we have assurance, we have tax, we have deals, we have our consulting business, we have digital, as well as our very own PWC Academy. So let me start off with assurance. So I think assurance, people will just equate that to co-assurance, i.e. our audit work. Yes, that is a big part of it. But on top of that, we also do advisory work in compliance with the international accounting standards. We also help clients with their IPO exercise, initial public offerings in stock exchange like Bursa Malaysia, as well as providing other forms of assurance that we talked about earlier, right? Risk assurance, sustainability assurance. So actually, assurance actually encompasses just beyond audit. Similarly, when it comes to tax, a lot of people will have the conception, oh, tax is just basically, you just prepare tax return and then you submit. Actually, the work that we do now is actually beyond that. We actually work alongside as advisors with clients to ensure that their business and transactions are structured in the most tax efficient manner, as well as in compliance and aligned with the overall business strategy of the organizations. In today's environment, we are also helping clients to address global tax issues, those that we discussed earlier, right? Like the BEPS, ESG, by having a robust tax reporting strategy and framework. So within tax is actually quite a wide practice. We just don't do corporate tax. We also do other specialist work such as transfer pricing, indirect taxes, and the list goes on. Deals, as the name says, is where we involve in clients' transactions. So what we do is that we work with clients to create, realize, and protect value through M&A exercise, restructuring, and divestitures. So in assisting clients with the transactions, we would deliver values and provide sound business advice throughout the whole deal cycle. So from deal initiation to identification to implementation, execution, to getting the deal being secured all the way to post-deal integration. So the work that we do there actually encompasses a wide range of activities throughout that sort of deal life cycle. Consulting divisions, on the other hand, in essence, basically provide various business consulting services to organizations to solve business issues and challenges in some of the key areas like technology, sustainability. We talked about that just now. People and organization, managing people is not easy. Operational effectiveness, how can I improve my effectiveness of my business to maximize profits? ESG, as well as forensics. Digital. It is a new area that we started 2 years ago because we believe that that is the future. And what the group is basically doing is actually provide integrated end-to-end digital experience solutions from strategy, innovation, through to execution. We have recently launched our marketplace website. And if you do have time after this forum, please feel free to actually go into the marketplace website, where it is a platform where we showcase our digital solutions and assets and provide avenue for us to engage with our clients to discuss on these digital opportunities and how they can actually take that forward in their business. PWC Academy, last but not least, we are also going into the areas of training. And basically, our client base will, of course, be corporates, as well as we also run public courses. And the areas of the topics that we cover will be in the core areas of competency surrounding finance. But at the same time, we also look into soft skills as well as the future skills like things like digital, ESG, and so forth. You can see here, in relation to the various line of service that we are doing, you will realize that PWC is no longer a traditional accounting and tax firms, but we have transformed ourselves to what we call a professional service organization, having a multidisciplinary areas that we are actually look at beyond accountancy. So what does that mean? So it means that when we look for talent out there, it is not just restricted to accountancy and finance graduates, but we also look at people that have different experience and qualification, such as technology, digital, environment, engineers, mathematicians, and the list goes on. Because we need all these talents to ensure that we can have that diversity to provide a good solutions and advice to our clients. In addition to that, based on this refresh strategy, we are also pivoting from what we call a pure service organization to a service plus product organization through the development of our digital assets and academic courses. What that means to you as potential new joiners to PWC is that when you join, you will have tremendous opportunities to work in various areas within the firm, and that's how you can grow in your career within the firm as well. At PWC, as we develop our people strategy, we talk about our business, our type of work that we do, right? Then now I'll pivot towards our people strategy in terms of what you would then get as an employee of PWC. We truly believe that the experience at work is something that we can choose to create day to day based on this growth framework, which guides us on the experience we want to create for our people in PWC. So it is on growth, recognition, opportunities, and ways of working. In each of these pillars, there are platforms, initiatives, and ways to live out our PWC experience. Let me take you through each of these pillars and how we will bring this to life for our people. To do that, I'm not going to do that alone. I actually is joined with my fellow colleague, Nushka, who is currently one of our campus recruiters supporting recruitment for deals advisory and the TMT program, tax management trainee programs. Having studied in the UK herself, she will be sharing her experience on starting her career journey with PwC not too long ago, I believe last year in 2021. So perhaps maybe before I continue, I'll get Nushka to just say a few words about herself. Over to you, Nushka.
Thanks, Steve. So yeah, as Steve said, I recently joined PwC Malaysia in October 2021. Before that, I was studying psychology at Loughborough University. And then yeah, in July, I decided I was going to move home to Malaysia and begin my career journey here. Thank you.
Wow, Nushka, you have a psychology degree. So for the people that talk to her, so be careful what you say, right? She should be able to read into your minds. Okay, so let's go into the 4 pillars. And I will start off with the first pillar called growth. Growth anytime, anywhere aims to prepare you for the future of the work by developing your differentiated capabilities through personalized and digital training. Our career development is actually guided by this My Growth Journey and ecosystem aimed to support professional and personal growth of our people. In the center of it is what we call the PWC Professional Attributes, which is a framework that we use to evaluate not just our people's performance, but also potential candidates who wants to join us. So people out there, when you actually ask what are the things that PWC look for in our candidates, so you just need to refer to this PWC professional, okay? So basically it talks about technical and digital skills. It talks about relationship, business acumen, global and inclusiveness, and the center of it is actually the whole leadership. So for example, let me explain, right? Technical and digital can refer to your academic qualifications and digital skills, whilst the whole leadership looks at how you lead yourselves and others. So everyone in PwC is assigned a career coach because we believe in that coaching and mentoring sessions, and you can discuss your development plans with your career coach by having regular growth conversations. So if you ask me, when you start your career with us, the foundation years of your career will focus on growing and deepening your technical competence. And as you move up, say, to manager, you will need to lead a team where you can then work on your soft skills, your management skills, your people skills. Next, as you become a director or partner, you will then sharpen your business development and your practice building skills. So you can see, as you grow your career in PwC, you actually grow the different aspects of your development, and that's where you can then become a wholesome professional. I would like to mention here that one of the key difference growing in a professional services firm like ours is that your progression is not limited. If you can perform and deliver, you move up the career at the pace that you want to. You can take your own time to grow, but some of you who has strong ambition to have an accelerated career path, this is also the right place for you. I'm a good example. I was made up a manager in less than 4 years since when I started as a new graduate. And 4 years thereafter, I was made up as a director. So it took me 8 years to become a director in PwC. To achieve this growth, it is not just my own efforts. The firm has really provided me with great opportunities, both in terms of the work that I do, as well as harnessing my leadership skills. And I've even been given an opportunity to go to the US for a global leadership program, even though when I was just a manager then. And most important all, and I hope you all out there will actually take note, is that having a mentor is very important. I have a great partner mentor that really have invested in my career, providing timely coaching advice to me every time throughout my journey in PwC. Staff development is definitely another key pillar to our people strategy. And when it comes to that, we have this tool called Vantage. It is the PwC Malaysia's version of Spotify, where you can simply type on what you want to learn, create your own playlist of content. It's personalized and can be accessed either via a website or even via an app on your phone for the on-the-go learning. That's also the platform where you can also get to know additional financial information from popular sources like Harvard Business Review, The Economist, the PwC Top Leadership, as well as our business curriculum. So you can see even your learning opportunities are almost limitless in PwC. On top of that, as you have heard from the earlier sessions, it is important that we need to continue to reinvent ourselves with new skills that are relevant in today's business. Whatever that you have learned in school and university, yes, it gives you a good foundation, but in today's world, it may become obsolete in a very short period of time if you do not continue to learn. So we realize that, and in PwC, we have launched what we call our Future Skills Program to all our staff. So not just selected staff, but all our staff have to actually go through this, aim to upskill our people to prepare them for the future. What are we focusing here when it comes to the future skills? Firstly, digital skills, as we want our people to adopt those tools in digitalizing our business, as well as helping clients to transform in their digital journey. Another aspect is the human skills. This is an area that robots and technology cannot replace, and we want our people to sharpen that and be agile to develop their professional and leadership skills. Under the program as well, our more technologically inclined people can also apply to become what we call a digital accelerator and learn to come up with digital solutions that enhance their workflow or save time on repetitive tasks. I've been talking a lot in terms of our growth pillar, but perhaps let me throw it back now to Nush to actually see, maybe share one of the experience that you have, say when it comes to upskilling that you think has been value adding to your PwC experience.
Thanks for the question, Steve. Yeah, I think one experience that really stands out to me is the Data Analytics Online Academy. So that's a training course that I've been currently doing. So I'm on midway through on chapter 3. Wow. And it's been really great. And I think the 3 things that have stood out for me is that the content is simple and easy to understand. Coming from a background in psychology, I do a little bit of data analytics, but not that much. And so initially when I took part in the course, I was a little worried that I would be lost in some of the technical jargon. But they actually really made it simple and easy to understand. The second thing for me is that the content was really built around combining the theory with practice. So real world case examples were used from PwC firms across the globe. So it was really interesting to see how they brought it to life. And I think finally for me, I was really taken aback because if you had asked me a couple of weeks ago or a couple of months ago how data analytics and recruitment can work hand in hand, I wouldn't have been able to give you an answer. But actually, this course has given me the ability to see that these insights and these data analytics can really inform what I take to the business, and that really drives the decision making. So I think it's been a really great experience.
Thanks, Nush, for that sharing. And for all of you out there, not just associates like Nush have to go through that program. Even me, have been in the firm for the last 25 years. We have to actually go through that because we believe that all of us need to be upskilled when it comes to digital. Okay, enough about growth. So let's move on to the next pillar, recognition. So now you have heard about how we actually can invest in learning and growth opportunities. So let's look at how we recognize people and appreciate efforts for a job well done. At PwC, we continue to ensure that definitely our total reward package needs to remain to be competitive, but we believe that the recognition must go beyond the dollar and cents. We believe that we need to recognize our people on a real-time basis as well, be it a simple thank you, a pat on the back for a job well done, or even giving some rewards to allow staff to purchase their preferred items for the effort that they've done. So for all this real-time recognition, we have adopted an application called the FlexPoint. It is an app that you can download on your mobile phone as well, where people can recognize each other through badges or through the awarding of points. So perhaps I'll now immediately ask Nushka, I believe you have gotten some flex points, right? So how have you been using your flex points and the things that you have redeemed?
Yeah, so Flex Points was really exciting for me. I received them a couple of months ago, and I think what was really nice was I didn't expect them. So what I thought was just doing my job, someone else from a completely different team that I don't work with on a day-to-day basis awarded me these Flex Points, and it really made my day because it was so unexpected and really appreciative. And so I ended up using those Flex Points to get a bubble tea and an afternoon snack. So I think that really helped the day as well.
Okay, Nush, thanks very much for that sharing. And I must say, even people like me as a partner, when it comes to these badges and award, I think it is also very encouraging and motivating. So a few weeks ago, I actually got a care badge from one of my managers. She was diagnosed with COVID, but I sort of extended a bit more care, ensuring that she's doing okay and all that. And at the end of the day, she was really appreciative of the sort of the constant communications that I've been talking to her and all that, and it really made my day. So for people out there, when you join any firms, hopefully PwC, do award these badges to your superiors as well. It will also help to motivate them. So that's enough on flex points. To sort of continue with what we have here, I think beyond work during pre-COVID times, we have different events to engage our people, which is also another way to recognize and reward the hard work. So for example, we have KSP night. It's our annual dinner, a night where our people get to relax, enjoy good food, games, and win attractive prizes. The same goes to Family Day and Away Day, which is our team building trips to allow our people to bond and recharge. Before pandemic, the tax team actually went to Kuching. I think we brought 300 over people to Kuching for Away Day. So something that is really nice and for people to bond as well. We've also introduced firm-wide initiatives such as care chats, where we can take time to show gratitude and care to others, to acknowledge hard work and encourage each other. So you can see that when it comes to the pillar of recognition, that's something that we want to actually instill that culture in our people. Opportunities to solve important problems. In terms of opportunities, let me break it down into 3 big buckets. Number 1, the opportunities to do the exciting work that you can be part of. Number 2, the structured development programs that we have for you as a new graduates. And number 3, the opportunities to contribute to societies beyond your day-to-day work. Number 1, as part of the PwC community of solvers, you have the opportunities to work with leading clients, be it in the large local conglomerates in Bursa, Malaysia, to global players having operations in Malaysia. And being part of a network global firms, you also have the opportunities to be involved in regional work. And you can even be potentially involved in doing a US piece of work whilst you're in Malaysia. So that's the opportunities and the exposures that we can actually give to you when you join the firm. In addition, as we actually do a lot of work with the government and the state agencies, you can also participate in building trust initiatives as well as nation building engagement. In relation to structured development for your career, in PWC, the HC team have really put up various good programs for our graduates. You may have seen those programs featured on our website, including our Industry Explorer programs for the assurance business. But on top of that, we also have other structured programs. For example, since I'm from tax, I must fly the tax flag higher here and share with you the tax management training program, the TMT program, which is a 2-year structured development program, allowing the candidates to rotate across our corporate and specialist groups in our tax practice, as well as having a taste in the assurance for 6 months or even digital, depending on the route that you choose. Open to graduates from any discipline, this program aims to equip you with the skills and the knowledge to be the future tax leader of the firm. Is PWC just for accountants or accounting or finance graduates? And if you have pursued a non-accountancy degree and still think that accountancy could be something that you want to pursue as a career, don't have to worry too much, because in PWC, we have what we call the Aspiring Accountants Program. It is basically a bridging program for graduates from any non-accounting discipline to give insights into the fundamentals of accounting and auditing, where upon completion of the course, you'll be offered a training contract to complete your professional accounting qualification. So we actually provide all these various platforms for graduates like yourselves to be able to join PWC. Of course, if you are a technology graduates, for example, we have the digital audit. Basically, it's a specialist team within our audit practice that combines a mix of technology, data, business, and accounting expertise to serve our clients across all industries. There are 2 sides to digital audit, which include our latest tools to help digitalize the way we deliver our audit to make it more efficient, as well as auditing our clients' technology to assure them security and controls are in place. Your opportunities for development is not just about work, work, and work. Outside your work area, you will be given options and opportunities to make a difference in the society. Volunteering opportunities allows you to help with the less privileged or do your part for the environment. For example, we have what we call the Campus Digital, where you can help undergraduates improve their Excel skills to prepare them for the workforce. And we also have CSR activities, such as the mangrove tree planting. We also promote I&D, what we call inclusion and diversity, through various activities that we do. And let me call out 2 of them. Lepak with a Stranger. It is a platform where people across different departments meet over lunch, with each weekly sessions focusing on topics that are relevant to our people, allowing us to learn about diversity and the unique cultures of Malaysia. The other word that worth mentioning is the PWC Heart of Gold. As part of our Diversity Week, we collaborated with Gold, a social enterprise focused on generating opportunities and empowering individuals who are differently able to design special editions merchandise with the themes environment, diversity, and inclusivity. So Nosh, what sessions have you joined before when it comes to these activities, and perhaps you can share 1 or 2 of your experience here?
Yeah, so actually I got the opportunity over lunch to join the Lepak with a Stranger. And it was a really exciting session. So that session was a bit different, and we did some interactive games. So similar to Wordle, which is a very popular game now. And it was really nice to connect with people from different lines of service who I wouldn't ordinarily meet on a day-to-day basis. So it was really enjoyable and just made for a good laugh at the middle of the day. Okay, yeah, so you can see that we are not just focusing on work, we're also focusing on play, and at the same time, be able to also enrich ourselves. Now, let's move on to the last pillar, ways of working. Beyond feeling connected and being part of inclusive community, you will have also be empowered to take charge of how you actually work. We believe in creating a PWC culture that you can find your purpose and sense of belonging with your fellow colleagues. Joining a professional firm at PWC will allow you to be immersed with a pool of young talents. Mind you, 85% of our workforce is below 30 years old. And where can you get the opportunity to network with so many like-minded professionals where you can build long-lasting relationships? Another key aspect to our work
is our evolving flexibility practices for our people to achieve a respectful work-life integration. I think a lot of people will say, hey, working in accounting firm, is there really life? Normally people say there's no life in accounting firms, right? Yes, I must admit there's some truth to that, but I think over time, as a firm, we would definitely want to change that and ensure that our people can really have a good life outside work as well when pursuing the career with PwC. So what does that look like in practice then? Whilst we have bits and pieces of flexible work arrangement embedded in our work practices for some time already, in 2018, we actually put them all together, enhanced them into a comprehensive flex program to enable our people to achieve a successful work-life integration. Our Flex Plus program is what makes the firm really unique and a great place to work. And we are proud to say that for a number of initiatives that we have launched, we were the first amongst corporate Malaysia to adopt them. These initiatives involve catering to different stages of life and the need of our people. And here are some that will be relevant to you, say as a new joiner. Flexwear, you can wear casually in the office, or even to client space if the clients adopt casual wear, if you have no client meetings. Flex space, even before the pandemic, we already have the options to work away from office if the need arises. And as we come out from this pandemic, we realize that it is very, very possible to actually work away from office. And we continue to reimagine our work arrangement to be one where we provide further flexibility and choice for our people to work from. Flex Friday, again, that is one of the first in corporate Malaysia when it was first launched. Every second Friday of the month, you don't have to work 8 hours. 4 hours is enough. And if there's no important meetings, you can clock off at 12:30 and do whatever things that you like. So I must tell you, when this Flex Friday was first introduced, I actually kept this for my wife so that I can at least do something and spend some me time to do my massage every month. But of course, after a couple of months, that she soon realized that PwC have launched this and then demand that I spend that Flex Friday with her and the family, which is great as well. Rest and refresh, firm-wide block leave at the end of the year. Normally, we'll get 9 to 10 days where our office is totally closed. There is no disruption, and we allow people to refresh and to connect back with their family and friends. Birthday leave. On your birthday, it is a time off, and you can celebrate that with your loved ones. GPW is a platform where we actually share employees' perks. So being a PwC will entitle you to special discounts and promotion on certain brands where we have actually go into certain affiliation. Flex benefits, that's another key areas that we are very proud of. We actually give you an allocation where you can decide how you want to utilize it for your benefits claims. Of course, we do have a list of approved items that you can claim, and you can actually claim based on those approved items. Very, very good sort of array of flex initiatives that we have launched thus far. So Nushka, which one really have benefited you to ensure that you have a successful work-life integration?
I think I have the top two. So like you said, Flex Friday is amazing. Last Flex Friday, I actually did the very Malaysian thing and I had lunch with some of the people I work with, and it was really nice because it was actually the first time I had hot pot. So it was really nice to take a really long lunch and leisurely lunch and just really enjoy the entire experience. But I think the other one is Flex Time. I'm more productive in the morning, contrary to popular belief. I prefer the mornings. I feel more energized, and so I choose to work slightly earlier and finish earlier. But it also allows me to then take my dog Lula for a walk at the end of the day. So yeah, those are the two policies that I think are definitely my favorites.
Okay, thanks Nush for that sharing. So beyond the Flex program, we believe in well-being at work as well, through programs focusing on mind, body, and heart. Pre-COVID, we have this called Stackathon. We actually gathered in office after work on every Wednesday evening and exercise by walking up and down the stairs. So we actually occupy about 8-9 floors in our one central building, and we actually walk up and down as part of the exercise. PWC activities, we have Kaki Jalan. This is something that we continue even during the pandemic while we work from home, where our people can compete with one another to see who has more steps counts in a week with exciting prizes to be won. Mental Health Day. Since 2018, we have celebrated this annually to create awareness and share resources on how to care for our mental health. So as you can see, there's a lot of programs and initiatives that the firm actually put for our people and not just focusing on the work delivery with the clients. So now I'm actually coming towards my last slide actually. Being said all that, are you really ready for the new equation? I truly believe that at PwC, we provide you with a good platform for you to develop and grow your career, as well as a place where you can belong to find friendship, to build a long career and have a strong network for your future. This is also a place where you can have the opportunities to contribute back to the community through our various CSR programs. As we shape our people agenda moving forward, the growth pillars that I've shared, but as we move forward, these will be our key priorities, and you can expect that from PwC, providing the platform for you to develop. Let's be honest, as you being our key assets, develop and sharpen your skills, the firm will grow as well. If you don't grow, the firm will not be able to grow. So this has always been our philosophy and our value proposition to our people. Secondly, as you work, we want to give you meaningful work to ensure that your growth can be accelerated. We will look at how we can use, say, automation to cut down manual process so that even as a junior staff, you can start focusing on delivering value, adding work to our clients. Well-being, mental well-being in particular, is something that we will focus on to ensure that this will be well taken care of as a PwC family. We do appreciate that not all of you that have joined us will have a lifetime career with us. Potentially, I could be the exceptions, staying in the firm for the last 25 years. But we need to build a robust alumni network, and in fact, we have. We will want to stay connected with all our alumni and support them in whatever that we can, through the newsletters and all that. And at the same time, our alumni, for example, will be able to enjoy special discounts to the various courses run by the firm. Underpinning all the above, I think I want to stress is our willingness to listen and our drive to empower our people. While we talk about, say, work from home being the future, when we engage our people, not all wanted to work from home actually. Some still prefer to come to the office after experiencing a prolonged work from home mode for the last 2 years. When we dissect down, actually what people are looking for is not working from home. They want choice of flexibility. And this is what we will set ourselves to achieve for our people. As we are still developing this, of course, and where we will look at the choice of people in terms of where to work, what work do they want to do, and how the reward will be structured. We are going through these exciting times, and I hope that I can see as many of you joining our community of solvers as we forge ahead to help clients with their business issues. As an immediate step, a small request, I will ask you to scan the QR code if you have not done so, and subscribe to our Fresh Off the Grab newsletter to get the latest news and updates. With that, thank you very much, everyone, who has tuned into this live stream, and we hope to see you soon at PwC Malaysia. Back to you, Chessie.
Thank you so much, Steve and Anushka, for sharing your, experience in PwC and what they have to offer. I think a lot of our viewers were really appreciative of, your own personal experiences with having a flex points and how you spend it and all. And I guess on that question to say, you mentioned how PwC has flex points. You have many events like PwC Wellbeing. I think our viewers are interested in actually knowing your personal story in given that you're both a tax professional and have recently taken on the role of a people leader. We were mentioning how do you achieve this successful work-life integration, and how do you distress and sort of manage your time around that?
Okay, thanks, Chasing, for that question. I think for me, the key word is discipline. because sometimes we only have 24 hours a day, but if we let the time slip, it is very easily sort of just get passed by, right? So having that discipline at work to do the things that I like is something that I subscribe to. So every morning I will start 1 hour plus at my home gym. So that's at least I will do that 4 to 5 times a week. And that's effectively my me time as well, where I can really spend the time all by myself. Then after that, I will start work. And I will ensure that I will try to end work, say, around 7 plus. Of course, now we are still on the work from home arrangement. I will then go down to have dinner with my family. And then I'll have spent quality time with my family until my children sleeps at around 9 plus to 10. And the remaining of the night, for another 1 hour or so, that's my time with my wife. So that's basically how I sort of split in relation to my day-to-day activities. In relation to how I de-stress, definitely the exercise is definitely one. Secondly is that if my stress level is very high, I will actually do some cooking and baking. Cooking and baking is my passion, so I like to do that. And like Nushka, I believe she also likes bubble tea, so that is actually my favorite drink. So I would generally de-stress with my children with a bubble tea sort of trip to one of the outlets. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing your experience, Steve. And indeed, baking is a really, really nice hobby. Hopefully one day I'll be able to, I guess, get a taste of your muffins or cookies that you make. Anyways, moving on, I guess, we have a question from a viewer, which was, you mentioned how PwC is willing to take or do take unconventional degrees and do have like growth programs to help them. I guess you mentioned the accountancy training program per se. A question that a lot of those were asking was, how willing exactly is PwC willing to take on people from more unconventional degrees? So perhaps maybe bioengineering or someone like me who takes philosophy per se.
Okay, definitely, yes. I think we are very open to that because we believe that through diversity, through the different experiences that you can actually bring to the table, that is something that we really value. Actually, when we actually train our people, generally, if you look at our training programs, we actually assume that when you come in, say even for to do accounting work, we actually assume that you have zero knowledge, and we actually train you from the base. So that has been the approach that we are taking. And similarly, if you're from the non-conventional sort of programs that you're doing, we'll be happy to actually consider that. And as we say, is that our business has evolved so much that we are no longer just accounting, but we also look at different areas, like for example, ESG. So if we were to service, say, a plantation group, a biotech knowledge is very important, right, to ensure that we'll be able to bring out the right ESG strategy for our clients, for example. So all this knowledge is actually important, and we definitely want that in you as part of our team. Yeah.
So much for the response. It's sort of related to say, a lot of I guess our viewers were asking, not only unconventional degrees, but perhaps more conventional degrees, perhaps. They wanted if you had any advice, tips for any incoming graduates, when they enter the workforce, how could they perhaps improve the given state of reality today?
Sorry, can you repeat the last sentence? It was a bit breaking just now.
Oh, sorry about that. Like advice for incoming graduates entering the workforce and how we can improve our employability given, like, I guess, the nature of it in today's reality.
Okay, I'm pretty conventional, I must say. Yes, of course, with the new norm and all that, people will say, you need to respond to that and all that. But at which point in time when you join the workforce, I think the core in terms of what you actually bring to the table is important. And to me, it's about bringing the right attitude to the work. You can have the best results, but if you don't have the right attitude, the right posture to have that keenness to learn, keenness to be shaped by your managers and all that, you will go nowhere. So I think having the right attitude is important. The the posture that you don't know all, you need to learn, you need to evolve yourself is also very important. And with the future skills, that's also the other thing that you need to be mindful of. You can say that, I don't like technology, therefore all these future skills is not relevant to me. But whatever that you do, whether you join PWC or you're becoming an engineer and all that, you can't run away from having to face with digitalization. That is the way moving forward, and that's something that you need to focus on. But it all boils down to the first step of having that right attitude. So to all the graduates out there, have that open mind, right attitude as you actually approach. I think the other elements is no matter what you do, in order for you to succeed in life, there is no shortcut. I'm a person that don't believe in shortcut. Okay, so it all comes with hard work. People can tell you, no, you can have this smart way of doing things like that. Yes, we learn from that. We do the smart way, but that does not mean that you can cut corners. Ultimately, you still have to put in your best effort. And your employers, they have years of experience behind them. When you take shortcuts, they just have a look. They know that that is not a job well done. So hard work with the right attitude.
Thank you so much. I mean, I'm not sure but as a student, I do believe that this attitude of wanting to learn, there is a lot to learn, and hard work is really important, not necessarily just for employability, but it's a good attitude to have, per se. I guess moving on, a lot of our viewers were wondering, you mentioned a lot how PwC emphasizes a lot on growth and providing a lot of opportunities. There was a question that, considering that PwC is all across the world, even in the UK, per se, they were wondering what are the opportunities to get to work with them and perhaps even get transferred to the branches in different regions. So
are you looking at in terms of secondment opportunities?
Yeah, like whether is it possible or like how possible is it like to move to different branches across different regions? Okay,
I would say that, of course, when we talk about movement between it's not just about us wanting to actually send you across, it's also whether the other side, they actually do have the opportunity and opening for you to actually move across. And of course, if yes, that will be something that as a firm will be happy to facilitate on. But to the listeners out there, I also want to challenge your thought that as we move into the new normal, if you want to actually have a piece of trying to do, say, a US engagement, does that mean that you have to be seconded or get a placement in the US to be able to do that, for example? Actually, in this new normal, you could be having that exposure even while working in Malaysia. And as a firm, we are basically looking into these sort of opportunities that we can actually put forward to our people so that whilst there could be still based in Malaysia, be close to their families, to their friends, but at the same time have those regional exposures as well. So do think about that as well, and not just being able to sort of move on to the other side of the other side of the firm. Yeah.
Yes, that's very interesting. I think a good follow-up to this was, I guess, let's not look a bit across regions. Let's just say internally in PwC Malaysia. Given you taking the step from being a tax professional to a people leaders role, I guess I was wondering, like, what is the opportunities or like flexibility within PwC Malaysia of, let's just say, doing tax advisory and then slowly transitioning to perhaps deals or technology, per se, like different departments within PwC Malaysia? How flexible is that?
My answer will be pretty much similar to my previous one, where it has to be both sides. So if you have interest, then normally we will then get you to speak to the, say for example, if you want to transfer from tax to the deals team, then we'll get the staff to actually have a chat with the deals team to see whether there's a fit for this particular staff in that practice. And then if there is, then we will actually allow that. Because mind you, if we don't allow that, the staff will just go to another firm, right? And join their deals team, right? So I think we need to be, react to this reality, the new reality, and basically all this flexibility. That will be definitely something that we'll be happy to facilitate.
Thank you so much for your response, Steve. I guess one of our viewers were asking that. I mean, a lot of us, we're here to sort of secure an opportunity per se. Some of our viewers were wondering, as an intern, if we do get the opportunity at PWC Malaysia, what would the extent of responsibilities and exposure that we get, considering that we're still studying per se?
Okay, I think it also depends on which is the season or the period that you join. So for example, if you say join during the assurance peak period, when you are as an intern, you definitely immediately get immersed into the audit engagement team. And we will sort of allocate sort of certain sections of the audit for you to actually work on, of course, with proper coaching and supervisory from the seniors and all that. So I think if you actually join us in the right season, I think you're going to get a lot of exposure. For example, in tax, when you join us during our peak period between May to August, basically the work that you do is effectively like any of the associates, where of course we don't give you a complex return to work on. We'll give you slightly less complex, but the sort of the rigor that you need to go through will be actually similar to associates. And that's important because we really want you to have that real life experience, working in the real world and not just treating you as an intern and just getting you to do photocopying, to do, all this paperwork and all that. So that's not our intention at all. So what we really want that the interns that join us really have that real experience of the real life world out there when they graduated.
Thank you. That was really in-depth response. I guess, we're running a bit short on time. One last question, I guess, to just end it off and to give, I guess, advice to these future leaders and people like us. Now that you have 20 years of experience, what will you say to your younger self, when you were first starting out?
Okay, actually, I was sharing one article about that a couple of months back. And it's the same question, actually, in terms of what I would say to my young self. I think firstly is not to be too overly critical about myself. Actually, I'm a person that like to reflect a lot. And sometimes I could be overly critical and too hard on myself. So I think people that have the same traits with me do take things a bit easier because life is actually more than that. And if I take that approach, I'll be less stressful during my formation years. And looking back, do I really have to be so pedantic on certain things and all that? The answer is no, because actually, as long as you put in your best, I'm not asking people to slack, but if you put in the best, your superiors, your managers, your partners will be able to see that, and they will appreciate the efforts that you actually have put in. So that's one. Don't be too hard. Okay. Number two, I think is the thing that I've not really done enough, I must say, when I was a junior staff, is actually starting to build my network at that young age. Sometimes you wonder, I'm just a junior staff, I just have to work within my space, have a few people that I'm close with, then that's enough, right? But it is important that you need to build networks with the people, not just in your team, people outside your team, different line of service. Because mind you, as you progress, these people will also be progressing. And that also includes clients, because in our work, we actually interact with clients. So build relationship with our clients. You could be, as a new joiner, you could be dealing with a finance exec. 5 years later, when you become a manager, the finance exec will also become the finance manager. When you becomes a partner, this finance manager could be CFO, group CFO, finance directors, or even MD of the organization. But if you have not started to build that network from start, and you only build that later, it would take a lot of time. Because as you know, right, when you deal with your childhood friends, it's so much easier to click. So if you have sort of built this relationship and friendship as each one of us grows, starting the career, the relationship is really at a different level. And I would strongly encourage you to do that. Something that I've missed out, I think particularly the first 2 years, when I realized that, I sort of jump-started the process. Hopefully it's not too late. So that's where I am today, not too bad. But hopefully you can take this advice and start to build your networks. Actually, even during your university days, right? You're participating in UKEC and all that really helps to also start to actually connect and build the people that you know.
Thank you so much, Steve, for the wonderful advice. On this very good note, I'd like to thank Steve, Nushka, and PWC Malaysia for taking your time today, to talk to us, I guess, UK, Malaysian students per se. And thanks so much for the presentation. I'm very sure that a lot of us will be eager to be part of the new equation if given the opportunity to do so. Anyways, with that, unfortunately, time is short, and I'd like to actually express my gratitude once again for being here. And with that, both you and I guess the panelists that we have today.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, UKEC, as well as graduates, for having us here as well. Thank you.
Thank you.